Well, good evening, or probably good afternoon, or good morning to some of you. Thank you for joining me here. I'm Sharon Martin from Inner Sanctum Studios. I'm a messenger and a channel for Gaia, and we've had a very discombobulating set of clunky old energies today, haven't we? Hello, Tina. And I thought I'd just share some dialogue to begin with. So I woke up this morning to head off to the gym, and I was, I don't feel that good in my head. And I felt like it was, a bit of a headache coming on. Hello, Amanda. Hello, Billy. And so I just felt all this pressure in my head. And so I got up and I got moving, and I decided, well, I will, I'll go to the gym and I'll see what happens when I get there. So I walked there, which is a nice walk, and then I decided on the way that I was not going to do a workout. So I went for a walk instead, and then I came back and I sat down and I'm like, I feel like asleep. I was like that yesterday as well. So I woke up with a bit of head pressure yesterday and felt like asleep by midday. And yesterday I had clients. Today I didn't have clients, and so I had this long list of things to do. Anyway, I didn't do very many of them, and so I am sitting down and I'm writing, and I've written a bit, and then I get a message from Anna, and Anna is she is visiting her family in Poland at the moment, and so I thought I'd just read you some of the dialogue that we had this morning. So she said, okay, let me find the beginning of it. She said, I was going to message you that it feels weirdly disconnected from anything and anyone today. And I wondered if it was happening because I'm in a house with so many people. Are you feeling any of it? And that she had read Morgan's post and I hadn't. And I said, well, I haven't seen that, but I'll look for it. I've been writing that we are receiving huge mental, mind, and brain upgrades for a consciousness and awareness expansion. And I'm feeling it as a very strong energy in my head. As well as we've been experiencing strange time leaps, which have been described to me by Gaia as adjustments in the physical plane. And then Anna said, I've just been feeling spaced away from anything, like I'm existing in some old plane that's been long gone. It's very bizarre. But in saying that, I do feel disconnected in general. So I've just been floating like this, not much energy, and not feeling like being deliberate about anything at the moment. And I said to her, I think that this feeling of disconnect is happening for everyone because she isn't well at the moment. And she was reminding me that I had checked in on her DM, and I'd got that a few days ago maybe, that he was, laid out and disconnected from everything and everyone. And then she said, so is it a reset for everyone to be in their own lane? Like, the unweaving of the tapestry. So I then told her about how I'd been shown the Rubik's Cube. And So it was I could see it being moved, and I was remembering the finesse that some people would have with using Rubik's cube, and the sort of clunkiness if you weren't adept. And so it was reminding me of that. It was clunk, 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 and it was that deliberate sort of movement, but it not being very smooth. So it was that the message that I was being given was, it's got clunky movement. It feels like we're doing this jolting. That's why I wrote that little message before I went and did some other things. So it's a movement, and it doesn't feel smooth like other transitions that we've been going through. And she said, yes, it's been a rough one. And so then I wrote, it's perhaps a bit like being in the 0 point, but without the zen. It's without those bliss codes. It's more like a deer caught in the headlights. Like there's no feeling. There's a sense of being a bit startled and of not knowing what to do. And she said, is it emotional or mental? And I said, no, it's definitely emotional. It all feels it's mental. It all feels a bit emotionless. It's flat, and it's the same with the mental, but the energy of this is in the mental mind. So it's like the mental mind is in this fogginess. And Lauren wrote to me later in the day and said it's an energy hangover, and that's a really good way of describing it. So yeah, this lack of emotion, this kind of lack of wherewithal to make decisions or do things. And then I went. So I wrote, and I'll see what else there is here. Oh, yes. So I'll finish this conversation with her. So she was saying that it's felt like this for her since the day that they set off to Poland, or the day before. And she said for the first time in a long while, she was experiencing reality in an old way, like a proper old 3D way, which she'd forgotten how it felt. And that, for quite a while now, everything's been smooth and in flow and a bit magical. And then all of a sudden, she felt no change on her insides, but all of a sudden, externally, there was all this stuff going on. So this is related to what we spoke about a little while ago about how we would come into chaos. And she was saying, for example, in the UK, before she left, there was railway strike action, then no taxis, then an outpour of rain as they walked to the station, and then small things like people bumping into each other, or things falling or breaking, no trains showing up, and people needing to squeeze into one train because only one line was running, or only one train out of several was running. And she said, I could go on and on to the smallest thing. It was like everything was out of sync and a struggle. And it made her realize how much of a hell the experience was before ascending out of it. And I wrote, it's a perfect example of the energy read that has come through this morning. So let me tell you what I wrote about that. Oh, yeah. So I'll tell you what I wrote about that, and then I'll tell you what then happened for me. So I wrote, head compression like a mild headache, pressure in the crown and or the temples may be affecting you today and possibly the last few days. This relates to crown activations and activations of the pineal and pituitary glands as they become more effective and online. Also, this relates to crown and third eye chakra upgrades. A huge amount, so there's a lot of things happening, so just bear with me. A huge amount of information is downloading for humanity as the veils are further lifted, enabling greater access. You may also be feeling fine, streaming energy in your teeth, in your cheek plates, and in your jaw, and this relates to the release This is the release of old ways and old patterns, and especially related to tension of the mind, the old paradigms. So be aware. Yes, the ways and patterns of tension. So be aware to work on releasing through walking in nature and shoulder rotation. So, but backwards, there's backwards shoulder rotation and stretching and moving the neck around as well. But be gentle with the neck. And initially, I was also seeing this as plates of ice cracking in zigzag formations. So it's been very kind of challenging for us to understand this, because we've been in this super beautiful, often blissful kind of state. And now it's like we've hit a brand new level of what's coming in and a brand new level of what's going out. And everything is happening for us, remember, in the physical. So we're feeling it very much in the physical. Gaia said is likely 3 or more days of this electromagnetic laden air in our atmosphere, as the mental mind and brain upgrades continue, and the energies for up-leveling and this expansion of awareness and consciousness ramp up. There's a disconnection and a rewiring occurring, and it comes with a sense of disconnection in the world. It's hard to feel or even to be aligned. So there are these clunky movements like jumping from side to side or being shunted by somebody, where there's this reset going on. It's a very strong mental reset in the physical, tangible space. This is like a backup set to shift us out of 3D. So we've had more of that, but this is like another wave of that. And the question I asked at the end of that conversation was, did the ratio of the awakened to the awakening create this reality for all today? Because there is this total sense that the collective is awakening, and that they are starting to witness and observe a new reality, or their old reality showing up differently. So then I go to start my car and the battery was flat. And so then I had to wait for someone to come and help me to jumpstart it. And then I toddled off to get some pieces of fabric from this store, because I want to do some sewing. And I said something to her, and I said, yeah, my brain isn't fully functioning today. And then they said to me, that's $250. And in my head, I'm thinking, $250? Wouldn't have thought that it would have been that much. Wouldn't have thought my calculations were that poor. And so that was going on in one part of my brain, but it couldn't get to the part of my brain that queried it. And they gave me the receipt, and I didn't look at the receipt. And then I got home and I looked at what I'd bought, and I thought, yeah, I should have said something while I was there, because now I've got to drive another 40 minutes tomorrow. So they charged me for 8 meters of a piece of fabric when I only bought 0.8. And so yeah, that they I'm owed I don't know how much, but 150-ish, I think. $150, so I'll have to go back there tomorrow. But this was my brain not adding up, not syncing up. And so this is our experience of the moment. It is that these mental constructs that relate to our very 3D world, they're more in the energetics for us to feel in the physical. It's a bit of a conundrum, really. But it's like, I really believe it's because so many of those who are awakened those who are awakening. The general collective is awakening. And so what they were seeing as their reality had an impact on what we were experiencing as our reality. And so it just had an impact on that. So we were also witnessing these out of sync things. And so I was aware of that driving as well. And at one point, when I was waiting to get my car jump started, I thought, oh, there's got to be, maybe there's a reason here. Maybe I'm not meant to be on the road today. And so I'll just go with the flow. But I was very vigilant on the road. I was aware that that a lot of people might not have been, on their game, being their best version of their driving self. So, yep, we're in this upgrade. We're in this refit, if you like. We're in this rebuilding. So this reset of the brain. And so if you've ever been pregnant, it was a bit like that, a bit like a mushy pregnant brain, difficult to put things in order. Or if you are on the autistic spectrum, you might have those experiences, like people with dyspraxia, where they don't necessarily have a logical order of doing things. And so this is what this experience is being like in our midst and in our own little world. So just be very, mindful, be exceptionally mindful, choose to only do what's necessary, be aware that things are, clunky, they are noisy, they are falling apart, they are fractious, and it is creating that in people's moods, and they may not be very well coordinated either. So I noticed some pretty wonky lane changing while I was driving, and I did this terrible parking job, and I went to move my car, and a car just came out of nowhere, and I saw it in time, but only just, and I'm like, oh my God, there's just not everything is functioning in alignment at the moment. So just try and do your best to be grounded. But it is like we're having aspects of our brain having brain surgery, and it is that we are feeling this in our physical world. And it's not going to be forever, but GAIA is saying that it might be. So for me, I felt it yesterday, and then today, and so we'll see. I'm feeling a bit clearer right now. And just know that that's what it is. So don't give yourself a hard time. But I want to say, be extra super mindful. Be exceptionally mindful if you're working with sharp knives, cooking and preparing. Be exceptionally mindful of that. Be exceptionally mindful when you're out on the road. And what I am really excited about is how it fits into the narrative of the main group of the collective awakening. And so they were creating, think about the chicken breaking out of the, I'm just seeing that now, and it's a really good analogy, the chick breaking out of the egg. It's having to move its wings to strengthen its skeletal frame, to develop some musculature. I guess birds have some kind of musculature on top of their ligaments, but it's all to strengthen that, to dry the feathers so that they can soar. And this is what the collective is doing. They're breaking out of the shell. So they are also going to be witnessing things that we might be well aware of that's gone on. So they might be beginning to see the lies. They might be beginning to see weather interference. They might be beginning to see that the climate change is a ruse, is a rort. They might be beginning to see that governments have been corrupt They might be beginning to see that there are all sorts of things going on that push us into a particular way of thinking and of speaking and of being, that there is all of these, it's a whole lot of narratives really to divide us up, to make us into smaller groups, to put us into fear, to make us more subservient. And so our job is to hold that space in our hearts, to be in that love, to know that we are on our way to living in a world where there's love and co-creation and cooperation, and there's alignment, and there are people working together in harmony, and we're in the crumbling part, so we can do the renewal part, but we still have to lead the way and light the tunnel, and learn to have good practices for ourselves to stay in that place, so that when we wake up in the morning, we can take ourselves into this beautiful space of clarity, of peace, of love, of affirming and gratefulness for what is, and of creation of thoughts and words of what it is that you might like to be having now or next. Without getting too caught up in it, I'm a believer in using language that is about calling in the feelings, So I want to have a day where I feel ease. I want to have a day where my heart just feels so full. I want to have a day where I really notice all the beauty in the world. I want to have a day where I feel filled up from go to woe. I want to have a day where I meet interesting people. I want to have a day where nature comes into my pathway. I want to have a day where I smell beautiful perfumes. I want to have a day where everything moves in a way that is of flow. I want to have a day where I'm reminded of my divine connection to the divine, to God, to Creator, to Source, to my soul family, to my earth family, to the people I love, and to be calling in those feelings, and to just be very present with this moment, because it's this moment that we have the most power over creating, and it's this moment that creates the next. And I believe that this is where we're at in our school, in our school of life. This is where we're at. We're learning to expand the moment and soak in the moment. So thank you, everyone who's here. And hello, Sarah, and there's a whole lot of people here. And hello, Anne Simpson and Beachwee. Okay, so many cars on the road not behaving as they're meant to. Hello, Leah. And yes, you get the jelly brain. Woke at 4 a.m, felt lightheaded, had to sit. Oh, yes, and there's the time thing is interesting, isn't it? Because it's not just the energetics of where we're at the moment, but it's also it's the time thing. So the timing has felt very stretched, hasn't it? And I mean, I've been in this place for a while now, but I've noticed that other people are saying that to me, and it's kind of more exaggerated now than it has been. It's this very big query about what day it is, and it's this very big query about what time it is, and it's certainly a query about what month it is, and it's a regular check-in, isn't it, with however it is that we align to what we have to do. So it might be your diary, it might be your phone, it might be some kind of app, it might be the other people in your house, and so all of these things are just feeling off. And I want to tell you that I believe it's a short-term thing. We might hit it again, but it is like that. It is, yeah. I think that is a perfect example. It is like breaking through the amniotic fluid to the sac, and all of a sudden we're in a different environment. It's like breaking the ice, and all of a sudden, we're not standing on solid ground. We're dealing with a lot of leaking water. It's this breaking through of the collective. And I think that's just so super exciting. So they have broken through. They are in their awakening. And that's what I believe was the big takeaway from the energy today. So we're in huge astrological alignments, of course. Lauren sent a message about, I think, Venus. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I don't remember the message she sent me. But I did see something about Venus has gone into retrograde, and, well, I think it comes out again in a couple of days. So this is the rationale, the astrological rationale for why we are returning to other times. So this other syncing of this return, the cycling back. So you might find that you're coming across people, situations, ideas, events that you had some other time. I don't know when, but we're in that as well. Anyway, it's just a short update from me, and I just wanted to let you know that you're not losing the plot, and that you're not going crazy, and that it's not like the big rerun. That it might be a bit uncomfortable. I want to remind you that getting your bare feet on the ground, 20 minutes on the ground or in the water or in salt water if you can't do that, or get your bare belly on the grass if you're in New Zealand at the moment. It's, well, even in Auckland it's been really icy, but it's not too bad to have your bare feet on the ground. It's a bit cold to have your belly on the ground, but that's a really quick way of grounding. And also you can drop a cord down to Gaia, and there's a big well. It's this color, and it has gold swirling through it. It's only about this wide, and it's quite deep, and it's to this side. No, it's not. This too. Oh, no, it's because this feels a mirror. Anyway, when you're looking at her cave, if you go down there, it's to the right. And it's a big deep well, and it's this color. It's this almost fluoro orange, and it's got gold threaded through it. And that's when she showed me that was for when people are really needing to have an energy top up. So you can kind of drop a cord, or like a rope, down into that, and then imagine that the rope is sucking it up, and it's attached to your tailbone, and you can pull that up into your body. It's actually really effective, and I'll do a little short video of that. I'm going to do a few. So I'm going to do a little basics series. I've started writing some titles, and I just need to do that. So I think that's it, unless you've got any questions here. Let me see if there are anybody more questions. No. So, yeah, be aware that this craziness is going to have a good outcome, and that, we are in this last part, and there's lots of bits to come, but it's all easier really for us because we've hit the wall about things probably. But remember what it was like when you had your awakening, and remember what it was like when you had your in-truthening about what was going on in the world, and that might have all been bundled up for you. For me, it was quite separate, but it's not an easy place to be physically or mentally or emotionally. It comes with a lot of fatigue. It comes with a lot of inquiry about life, and it can bring us to a sense of what the hell am I here for, and why did I come, and nothing makes sense, and nothing makes sense about anything I've done, and nothing makes sense about anything in my future, and it can bring a lot of despair. And so be aware that if what I got shown today is a prelude for that, that might be something that comes through as a wash, this collective wash of despair. And so let's just be vigilant about that and be aware that when we feel it, we tune in and we ask, is that me or is that something else? And then it's likely to be something else. And so then you can just bundle yourself up a little bit, just pull yourself up in a little bit, make your field a little bit smaller, and connect up and bring in your alignment, and go to music or go to a meditation or go to dancing or go to walking or yoga or something that moves your body and enables you to line up with yourself, and then come into compassion. And that's the way that we can help this move through. Yep. So be the listener, be the observer, and be the one who holds compassion, knowing that we're really. You can tell. I did not feel this excited earlier today. I felt like rubbish, but it's been interesting. And also, I want to tell you that I am, for some reason, it's not a claim to fame, but I'm really lucky because I often only get like a sensation or a taste of the physical. It's like I get shown what it might be like so I can tell others, and then it goes. But this was big, and I had this this heavy head, this pressure, especially around the temples and around the top of the brain, and really just wanted to lie down and sleep. Yeah, so they're good signs, I want to say. So much love. So much love to you. Oh, you're enjoying lovely weather in Wellington. Oh, well, that's good. Wellington needs to have some good weather. It's often, I think, Wellington often has nice clear weather, but it's hard to get out of the wind, isn't it? All right. Well, I wish you a beautiful rest of the day and a wonderful night's sleep. And yeah, I recommend drinking if you can, drink a couple of litres of water with spiked with lemon juice or lime juice, and that will help because our bodies are using a lot of liquid at the moment in this change. And it's just another level of regenesis, another level of upgrading. And I have not yet tuned into what exactly that might bring us, except that I can tell you that it definitely, part of it is to do with the upgrade of our gifts, and particularly our psychic vision. All right. Much love. Talk soon. Hi, Beachweed.